What's up, YouTube? It's FitzBro, and we've got a news drama update alert for you. No, it's not about me this time. Reddit has a giant wall of text here posted by Pesty EGC. He is the founder and organizer of EGCTV. I've been working with him since the days of Age of Empires 3 when he first started his channel. I played in some of the tournaments. I've casted on there. And of course, over the years, flash forward through Age of Empires 4, been very involved with casting and some of the tournament stuff with Age of Empires 4. But I just saw that he made this giant post on Reddit about 4 hours ago. I have not read it yet. But a little context before I go into this, you guys should know Golden League 2 is about to start. I think it literally starts this weekend. Massive tournament, tons of money, as always. And if you guys didn't know, Pesty puts a lot of his own money up to fund these type of events. With the addition, of course, sponsors. Luckily, he's been able to bring on many sponsors with Age of Empires 4, but a lot of it is really his blood, sweat, and tears, and often financial backing to make these happen. And I saw in the last few weeks, there were some pro players grumbling about this tournament. Now, specifically, I know that Beastie Cutie posted about a 45-minute YouTube video. He's one of the biggest Twitch streamers and YouTubers for the game. Where very much throughout is criticizing the rules and format and expressing a lot of frustration with this upcoming tournament, which of course I know Pesty's put a lot of work in to make happen. So while I haven't read this yet, I assume this is the rebuttal we're hearing from the tournament organizers. So let's go ahead, start to see what's going on. So some very personal thoughts about the recent commentary surrounding Golden League 2 from the founder of EGC. Okay, so for those that know me, I'm Pesty. So he's the one who runs EGCTV. I'm a Reddit. He made a Reddit account for himself for this because he wanted to be clear that this is his own thoughts about some recent commentary around Golden League 2. And I get it, as a tournament organizer, my job is to be in the background. I try to stay out of things and keep the spotlight on the players, audience, only popping up to say a few words 2 or 3 times a year after our major events. More than that, there's surely not a worse time for something like this than the eve of a major tournament, but here we are. I've got like a sinking feeling in my stomach. I don't even know what he's about to say. This tournament starts tomorrow, I believe. Things have gotten to a point where my AoE4 journey that I need to just say my piece. This isn't in order to defend EGCTV as a project or justify any of our work or decisions. In fact, far from it, doing something like this is highly damaging for a brand. It will have a negative impact on this event. What is he doing? So if people think that this is unprofessional or inappropriate, there's no need to say it. I'm aware of it. But I feel, however selfishly, airing my thoughts is more valuable to my sense of well-being as an individual. So he's upset about something. I really haven't talked to him much. I talked to him a ton during Red Bull back in October, but every once in a while, message back and forth. Usually has to do with like upcoming castings or whatever. But sounds like he's pretty upset. This has been a passion project for me. While I have always believed that EGC will be a viable business, I got into it and continue with it because I love Age of Empires. Yeah, everybody should know that. His involvement in AoE4 has been massively risky and expensive. I mean, I know from the tournament prices and, paying caster tournament, I know it's very expensive. Has come at a huge personal opportunity cost. Cat's opening a door. And could never have been justified were it not for a love of the game. AoE is only my favorite game. It's the only game I've played, excluding my lost childhood to Mario Kart. I do have a quite long story about how I got into Age of Empires 3, and that's how I met him. Besides the impact it had on my life way before EGC, but that's a post in itself. Okay, this is a little ominous. This is ominous. Over recent months, this passion project, built with love and passion, has progressively brought me less happiness and joy. That's sad. Or to go further, it's increasingly brought me real unhappiness. Damn. A lot about the project has started eating away at me, and that feeling has grown to the point that is bordered on intolerable. For the main part, I've ignored it, essentially gaslighting myself into thinking it's in my head and powered on with my ambitions for this scene. But it's reached a point where I cannot continue, at least in the way I've envisioned. Man, that's really heavy. I feel really, I mean, there's a lot to read here, so I don't want to make any assumptions here, but I can say as someone who's like, was very excited when Age of Empires first launched, and we had a lot of success on the channel. There's definitely been ups and downs I've felt, so I can sympathize, those feelings of like really big hype for some of the big moments of the game, and then some of the lulls when stuff happens, or so. I mean, he's expressing here on Reddit. I'm hoping this resolves positively towards the end. Let's see. While this has been progressive and the result of multiple circumstances, I can point to 3 examples of what has led me here. My first is that Lord Petito, or admin that works far harder than I can properly reward him for, started complaining to me more and more about how he was being treated by and talked to by some of the pro players. People are being rude to Petito. Unbelievable. Give me names. Who's being rude to Petito? He is a saint. What had started with a very occasional complaint or minor dramatic escalated into a not infrequent occurrence where he'd be treated disrespectfully and unpleasantly. He'd ask me if we could ban them because it got so unbearable he didn't want to speak to them. Jesus. In the name of wanting de-escalation and less drama, I'd often ask him, try to turn the other cheek and ignore it. So people being less than respectful to Petito, apparently. The second revelation was at the main event of Red Bull in Heidelberg. Now, I did not go, but I did get to cast from home. With the aforementioned issue already beginning to eat away at me, I noticed something else that was less subtle. The moment he arrived, just about every time he bumped into AoE2 players, they had ever so much as played one competitive game of AoE4, they'd come up and say a few words of thanks and encouragement for what they'd done for the game. Well, that's awesome. Sounds professional. A game they weren't even playing. From the likes of Viper to Doubt, I surely didn't pay out more than $100 to, and who did little more than dip his toe into the game. They all came up and to pass on my thanks to the team for running the events for them. That's pretty cool. For every one person from AoE4 Pro community, they had a word to say. For 10 from AoE2 that gained absolutely nothing from our project would come up to me. I must at this point mention a few caveats. Firstly, the AoE4 viewing community was an exception. Now, hold on. Go back to this. So he's saying he's having more AoE2 people praise him than AoE4. There are more AoE2 players than AoE4 players in general. But keep going. At an event that has been historically AoE2. So I don't know what the demographics were there, but I would imagine there were a lot of AoE2 people there. But anyways, they are absolutely incredible, warm, supportive, and community, and I have left having gained so much inspiration, encouragement from people I have met there. Same goes for the casters. Oh yes, I'm out of the woods. And all the teams involving directly in the game. Absolute respect. All Microsoft, World's Edge, etc. So he's specifically talking about the players, it sounds like. And despite the above, we have some absolute gems in AoE4 Pro scene, and many are literally some of the nicest people he has ever met. A few even reached out to me before making this post with words of encouragement. Okay, so we've got nice people, we've got mean people, and the in-betweens. Let's see. The third, and really the straw that broke the camel's back, is Beastie Cutie's 45-minute criticism of Golden League 2. Now, this is what I mentioned at the top of the video just because I watched a little bit. I think I maybe watched 20 minutes of it. I was eating lunch and kind of skimmed through just because I saw it was a big video where he was talking. So go check that out if you have not seen it. Or, I don't know, I guess we're going to learn more about it here. It's pretty long. In the subsequent follow-up posts and comments on this subreddit. Now, I can feel him a little bit as someone who's been a little bit target of some negative Reddit posts recently. It can, while you just ignore it, I mean, it's just Reddit. It's crazy. Everybody knows Reddit's stupid. But people do say some really mean, hateful things. I really saw this a lot last weekend with some of the posts. And, you know, you just have to learn to drown it out. Kind of like you said in this video, you just kind of learn to block it out. But that doesn't change the fact that, you know, there's still a person on the other end. Now, I want to be extremely clear and upfront on this and make sure I'm not misunderstood. I'm quite sure that the follow-up is going to misrepresent what I'm actually saying. Yes, pro players can and should criticize rules and formats and events in general. We're not immune from mistakes and criticisms. Yes, anyone, including pro players, can use their platforms exactly as they want. I do not question it. I do not seek to prevent it. The scene is better and more interesting when players speak their minds and share what they think. I mean, this all sounds agreeable. I'm waiting for the but. But, there it is. Okay. As I said before, this is all a passion project. That's a good thing to know. You know, but before I'm going to pause and give my caveats. I saw people posting on that Reddit post about me last week about how I'm making my full-time living playing Age of Empires 4. There's Redditors that are completely delusional. I am a full-time software developer. I am a jazz musician. I am a Bengals sports lover and a cat dad and a husband. And I love doing Age of Empires. I do it a lot. But this certainly does not pay my bills. And for Pesty, doing these tournaments, he's done a lot of this out of his own financial bank, in his own time, in his own work. Microsoft's not bankrolling these tournaments. A lot of this stuff has been coming from the organization, which is him himself. It's his business. And I think there's people who don't realize that sometimes when they're watching. Like, there's a person making all this happen. Before I said, this is a passion project, and we're at a point that 45-minute videos are being released without warning. 3 days before a major S-tier tournament specifically designed to hurt and undermine interest in an event, no matter how many still watch it. By those, I'm trying to make sure benefit the most from all of our hard work. It makes me question why I'm doing this. You know, I thought this while I was watching. Now, I'll tell you, I watch BCQD stream just about daily. I enjoy his gameplay. He's a really good pro. He was my most watched stream in my year in review. I've been involved with EGCTV for a long time. I'm no way official. I'm just like a hired gun, right? I cast every once in a while. I didn't talk to Pesty about this, but I was thinking when I was watching that video that it felt a little harsh. While I'm sure he had some, you know, good points here or there, it seemed like something maybe that could have been maybe a conversation behind closed doors. Or it's kind of weird to bash a tournament that's being funded to pay your likely his earnings, because he's a very good player, right? So it did seem kind of like negative propaganda to an event that he was going to benefit from, and I honestly, I kind of was excited about, as a viewer, some of the rules that are going to be in this tournament. I think it's going to be kind of interesting. It's not standard, but I think it's kind of fun. I think it's a little bit fun, but I could totally see when I saw this post. That's why I figured this is what it was about, because I knew when I saw that, like, ooh, that seems like you're biting the hand that's feeding you a little bit there. To be abundantly clear, this is not about that video in on itself. And yeah, I've been kind of looking at the Discord and seeing some of the stuff. I know that's just one, right? That's just he's expressing his opinions. There's other people talking about it on Reddit, in the Discord, or whatever it might be. He's just the largest platform you see. That video was, for me, the final nail in the coffin. Yeah. And I cannot count on the most important stakeholders in this community to bat on the same team as us. And without those people batting on our team, we cannot realize our dreams for the scene. When I watched that video and then read a mocking post here on Reddit, I could feel his pain, because I was feeling similar shit last weekend. I felt a real emptiness, a total disbelief. This is the way a small team doing their best to run esports events for a niche community is being treated by folk who we give a lot and ask nothing. And again, this is not about criticism or ability to accept criticism. It's always been appreciated and welcomed. It's about the fact that me and my team have gotten to the point of feeling a real unpleasantness and unhappiness in our work. And when we're not the first tournament organizers in the scene to have been left feeling that way. Maybe, just maybe, it's a wake-up call for some soul searching. This is some heavy shit, guys. This is from the largest tournament organizer for Age of Empires 4. It says a lot. I mean, I have no idea what all the details of a lot of this stuff is, but something's been going on. And I would definitely say Reddit just is a terrible place in general. It's never going to make you feel good. You've got to learn to roll with that. But, you know, he's doing hard work, and he's saying people are spitting and banging his face. AoE2's esports scene has been and continues to be enormous, successful because all the stakeholders in the scene bat towards the same goal. I'm sure they have plenty of criticism behind closed doors, but when it really comes to it, when facing the public, everyone understands that they need the tournament organizers to thrive and that everyone benefits from that success. The recent Grand Melee event couldn't be a clear example. I hope the organizers won't be offended by me saying that the event had a lot of teething problems. This is fine. It happens as part of the business. We make events, things go wrong, and we try to get them right next time. But no matter what went wrong, there is barely a peep of negativity coming from the pro player community. Only hype and excitement and appreciation. As I watched, I only felt the overwhelming sadness about our inability to build a community with the same warmth. Let's pause just a second to see what you guys are saying in chat, because this is a lot. I don't know how we're going to address all of it. That's why I'm trying to do it a little bit at a time. Scout, I understand something of this has to do with you. I'm not going to discuss that right now, but feel free to message me later. Yep, thanks. Don't worry, AoE2 has these toxic people too. I don't recommend going to AoE zone. Top pros being unprofessional and just outright complaining is surprising to hear about. I mean, BC's post was a bit of a biting the hand, but are there pros that are actually being unprofessional? I don't think BC was at all. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think BC was just putting his opinion piece on YouTube from what I had saw. But I would imagine it was a combination of things. He said that was just kind of the nail in the coffin, I guess, on his feelings of seeing some things. I have now gotten to the point where I feel in my heart that I will never be able to count on the support I need in the scene to do what I originally set out to do. That means that even when you don't agree with something, you try to support the hosts that are investing in you and the project as a whole. I mean, this is something I said I was a band teacher. My band students all the time. It's like, we're not always going to agree. We're not going to be best friends, but we're all working on the same thing. That's team. We're creating the same symphony at the end of the day, right? Now, you view tournament organizers are your partners in this journey, not some faceless corporation whom you're playing tug of war. I can sympathize with this or relate a little bit of like, everybody knows I stream a lot. I'm not a top 10 player of the game, but I stream a lot and I try to get better. And I very, very rarely have pro players like trying to give me any tips or help me when I'm streaming or playing. And it's like, well, I cast so many of games. I talk positively about all of our pro players, and I struggle a lot of times of like, I love all of our chatters and thing, but it's like, man, I would love for like one of these pros just to one time pop in my chat and give me a few tips or something. I would love that personally. I almost always try to raid like smaller streamers, and I do get raids from a lot of some of the big streams and stuff, but it does feel like sometimes like some of those top pros like ignore that the casters even exist. My AoE idol has always been Ozzy Drongo, and the one thing that sticks with me is that every time I ask him anything from him, he thinks about it in both terms of what he gets from it and what the entire scene community gets from it. He'll go as far as to do something that is financially and time negative for him personally because he wants to be part of a healthy, happy, and sustainable scene and to play an outsized role in doing it. That to me is epitome of a team player. Yeah, Drongo's stand-up dude. I've known him. I mean, me and Drongo and Pesty have known each other since AoE3. I mean, and I can say, just to like share a little of my own story, I casted a little bit I casted the Beast stream of Red Bull Wolo back in October. I had to take time off of work to do that, and I made less money streaming than I would have made from my work on those days. I essentially was losing money to stream Age of Empires this day. I didn't want any praise for it, but that's something I selfishly did because I wanted to be involved in that, and I thought it was a really cool thing for EGC and to have that be stream. But yeah, there definitely are casters that go above and beyond to do stuff, even when it's Drongo's a big streamer. He makes his living off of this game. Probably someone who's actually doing it. There's many small casters that do so much work and definitely are not monetarily, they're not paying the bills with it in the day. I'm certainly not. I get a few extra bucks from YouTube ads a month, but it ain't doing a whole lot. I really think that the defending Golden League 2 itself is not the point, but I'll devote a short paragraph to it anyways. Golden League as a concept is about having 3 unique stages with vanilla, qualifying, and finals. This is exactly what Golden League 1 was, which I believe remains the most watched AoE4 event ever by total minutes, and was by just about every account a huge success. This is the concept. We do vanilla events year-round, and Golden League is where we have a little fun and test out players with some varied formats. Yeah. The last 1v1 major series that we did this was 5 months of weekly vanilla tournaments. That's true. We did. This is a very good point. Like a lot of pro players have talked about, that. Well, the rules are not normal. They're not standard. Just give us the standard rules. The lead up to Red Bull was 5 months of just standard rules. That's a very good point. 18 separate tournaments, each with the same unchanged format. Golden League is designed specifically to be the antithesis of that. $1 million word. And quite frankly, until BCQ's video, I did not so much see an inkling of anything other than love for the format and excitement for the event from the broad community. This video did not follow months of community discontent. It became all 3 days before the event, and as much as anything, the idea that so dramatically and wildly unconventional is a myth that's been invented for dramatics and clickbait. I have definitely noticed, even the last few days, people talking, suddenly people were bashing the rule set and talking about this tournament with weird rules coming up. I didn't hear anything about that until after this video came out a few days ago. We've known about this tournament format for a long time. I've known about it. I thought it was pretty fun. I watched the video. I was like, that's interesting. I could see how maybe some pros want a normal one, but I did see, of course, those people with big followers are gonna sway the opinions of people. To recap, so he's going through the tournament format. So you've got your qualifying stage, stage 1, stage 2, 3, finals. So there's a no Stonewall stage, 3 villagers, extra villager stage, Civ's band stage, and then the regular stage is what you see here. Let's just check chat real quick. A lot of this video is constructive criticism. He whines just complains that there's a huge divide between players and pros, and particularly blames Golden League for it. Far from just giving you fair critique of the tournament rules. Did Twitch pay for those sweet shades? These are my Joe Burrow shades. These are not Cartiers, unfortunately. These are the $14 variant. I 100% believe that the fact he's a big content creator makes the social rules for what he can say different than you or me. It's hard to accept, but even if BC was making perfect points that are logical, he still can't post on YouTube for exactly this reason. There's some Twitch opinions for you. We all have got opinions. It's not complicated. It's not exaggerated. It's not that deep. Anyways, I don't really know how to wrap this collection of thoughts up, except to say this is how I'm feeling. I no longer feel that I'm part of a cohesive community and team. I go into this thinking we are all in it together, but I don't feel this way now or that it will change. This is so freaking depressing. One more reminder, most AoE4 players are incredible, kind, warm, and generous. And seeing as I won't go naming which ones I found to not be this way, I'd ask the community to continue treating every pro as if this applies to them. And I'll go further and say that just because I'm particularly disappointed in BC's video doesn't mean that he's not in the warm, kind, and generous category too. And I'll share from personal anecdote. I've casted alongside BCQD on EGCTV. I'll tell you, the first time I was going to cast with him, I was extremely nervous. I'm like, this guy's rank 1 on ladder. Who am I? I'm going to get in the casting boots with this guy. and he was super nice, super easy to cast with. It was great having someone with such great knowledge of the game and analytics, and I could ask him any question, and he didn't ever downplay or tell me I'm stupid or try to make fun of me at any point. It felt like we just worked well together. So I've definitely had a very positive experience in that. Like those times I did, have a voice chat more than just being in Twitch chat or whatever it might be. So there's different sides to everything here, guys. I read this back to myself and imagine that most people reading this will think I should be more thick-skinned about the whole thing. And that's okay. They're probably right. But in the end, we all just do our best, and I feel like I'm reaching the end of my best. It might look vain, but it has simply felt exhausting and relentless, and where it wouldn't have mattered to me in any other game or business pursuit, Age of Empires is very personal to me, and so it's all felt very personal. I know this post will have been damaging to me, EGC or Golden League 2, and there will be fallout, I imagine, to regret. I'm not sure. This is just him talking, but I don't know. I'm not sure about that. I also don't really have a platform to fight back from apart from a Reddit post. So if this gets all misconstrued, I won't easily be able to correct things. It is what it is. I guess I need to finish by saying what this means for the future, as it does, unfortunately, necessitate me changing course for my own personal happiness and well-being. Sounds like Pesty might be stepping back from the tournament. Wow. It's crazy. It's crazy. I just feel for the guy. As someone I've been playing games and doing tournament stuff with for since before Age of Empires 4 was even around. I remember we were messaging, talking about all the fun things we were going to do when Age of Empires 4 came out. First of all, Golden League 2 will go ahead as planned. It will receive all of our energy and passion and love. It's good to know. He's not calling off the tournament. We'll try to make it the best event AoE4 has seen, like we do for every event. Maybe we'll pull it off. Maybe we'll fall short, but we'll do our very best, truly. Okay, after Golden League 2, things will not proceed as planned. I don't want to go into what was planning for 23-24 because it feels vulgar, and the hardest part of all this, I feel like I'm getting a lot of people down. But both personally and professionally, I'm absolutely gutted to feel unable to press ahead with it. Instead of hosting the 26 weekends of events planned, we will seek to do 1 or 2 major events per year. You can't guarantee this because it will depend on whether other stakeholders will accept that altered version. I still feel we have a lot to offer this scene, and I hope we'll continue to receive the backing to make beautiful and exciting events. I hope that stakeholders will understand we still love the game and the community and want to help benefit it and do amazing things in it. But regardless, our place in the scene, rather than being elevated, will become significantly more limited after Golden League 2. I understand some of you may want to reduce your level of monetary support for EGC upon learning this, which is why I would prefer to tell you that rather than mislead the very people that frankly keep us in business, he'd rather tell you instead of mislead you. In terms of what will fill the gaps for what I envision being year-round AoE4, we'll have to see. I hope that some of our audience will continue to support us both for our AoE4 content and new adventures too. Wow, that's massive. I'm going to read Twitch chat, but we just got 2 more paragraphs here. Almost a year ago, I watched Nilly make his infamous speech after N4C about his disappointments, and I cringed. I thought to myself, why would Nilly take this spotlight? Why would he undermine the success of his own event like this? When Beastie made his video tearing into Nilly for stealing his moment, I nodded along with him. And yet now here I am airing it all out the day before my own event, and now I get it. How incredibly lonely and isolating it can feel trying your very best to do something for the community you love, and how thankless and dejecting it can feel. I wish I could go back and relive those events and view them with the perspective I have now gained, and to message Nilly and support him, and rally the community and support too. Ooh, this is heavy. Let me get the tissues. Not because I've got a cold. Now it's me, the day before my own event, undermining the success of myself and my team, taking the attention away from our casters and players. I hope this community will understand how much I continue to love this community and game, and how much I will it to succeed. I hope you'll continue tuning in to what will be an incredible event and won't see this post as something that detracts from that. I hope that I've unburdened myself from these feelings. Now we can put the spotlight back into our players and community. Signed, Pesty. Whew. For those of you guys just tuned in, this is the post we just went through reading, posted by Pesty of EGCTV, 147 upvotes here on Reddit. Now, I'm sure the comment section will be something to read in itself, but let's read a little bit from Twitch chat, see what they're saying there. Beastie already ranted about this post on his stream and said that he shouldn't have to face the results of his actions. Shouldn't have to face the results of his actions. I don't know what that means. It didn't sound like this was damning of anybody. This is just him airing his grievances about some of this. I mean, the fact that there's going to be less tournaments, like that's probably going to impact some of these players. It's an unfortunate Bess. Just woke up. What's happening now? This post isn't drama. It's depressing. Poor Pesty. Yeah, definitely. Shout out to Pesty. I gotta say, I've got nothing but love for the guy. I kind of wish I had messaged him just to say what's up randomly, and maybe he would talk to me about this a little more, or whatever. But I've had nothing but professional, great relationships with him, and we always talk about the dreams of the future of Age of Empires 4. Well, as far as this YouTube video goes, I'm not going to draw it out, but this is pretty much, we read it through. This is everything Pesty has to say. As far as my thoughts on it, as I said kind of at the top of the video, I did see BCQ's video earlier a few days ago. Kind of thought it was a little peculiar having such harsh criticisms for a tournament that was really put on to help him. And I can understand and sympathize with the feelings Pesty has of, it sounds like there's been a lot of forces, that just being one thing that has made him feel negative. And it sounds like he has now decided to step back from hosting as many tournaments as we've had in the past year. This is majorly going to be a hit for the Age of Empires 4 community. I mean, it's going to be a hit for me as a caster. It's number one place I have got to cast for thousands of people and get paid to do it. So some really heavy news. I'm not sure what this will mean for the future of esports at Age of Empires 4, if there'll be other people who decide to host more tournaments. We have seen more show matches going on. Perhaps we will. But I can say I'm wildly surprised that I always thought that the financials weren't making a whole lot of sense to me on some of this stuff. That it was just, it felt like every tournament from the very beginning was just like massive, crazy dollar number prize pools. And I'd be like, well, okay, one of those, but now another one, and another. It's like, where is this money coming from? So it doesn't surprise me. I know that he's invested a lot personally into it to feel like, hey, I think he saw it as an investment that would go somewhere. And when he's starting to get pushback from people, there's some Microsoft money, but it isn't all Microsoft money. Don't be fooled thinking it is. People think it all is. It isn't. Just like Twitch is not paying my power bill as the Redditors think it does. But it's sad to hear that there's pro players being unprofessional towards a tournament organizer. I can understand getting beefs with other players or disagreements, but it is unfortunate to hear that people are being rude to casters, and I would see that, or to tournament organizers, and I would see that just as bannable offense as breaking the rules to like in-game tournaments. You cannot be dicks to tournament organizers. They're making it happen. Without these tournaments, there is no big stage for you to win on and win that money and make this event happen. I've seen a lot of hate from pro players, a lot against casters trying to cast their games for YouTube channels. Like, I'm not making bank from it. It's content. We're literally just trying to bring attention to the game, which is growing the channels for people who actually do this full time. It only is growing attention to it. Tournaments and casters, it's all stuff building those viewers. And if that all disappears, those players who are paying their bills with this won't be able to anymore. I still got my day job. I'm paying my bills whether there's an AoE tournament going on or not. As I mentioned before, I lost some money doing some Age of Empires stuff every once in a while just for fun. But hopefully everyone just is more respectful all around coming out of this. And I'm excited for the tournament. I don't see it really impacting the viewership. I imagine as far as this tournament goes, I expect it still to be banger viewership. I'm very excited for it. But we'll have to see what the future for Age of Empire is going to entail. So I'll continue to read chat. But as far as YouTube goes, thanks for joining us for this special news segment of Age of Empires 4. And I hope to see you in the next video. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments below.